The time by Carrie Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The business news headlines is brought to you by CBX Wealth Management, making more possible. Remembering a business giant, regional economic promises, and Europe's jobs winning streak. Hello and welcome to CBX Business News for Thursday, August 14, 2025. I'm Yanil Wood. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast locally, former Grace Kennedy CEO Don Webby laid to rest today, celebrated as a visionary who helped shape Jamaica's business landscape. On the regional front, Guyana's Win Party rolls out bold economic reform pledges ahead of the general elections. And over on the global stage, Euro area employment climbs for 17th straight quarter, fueled by job gains in Spain and France. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after our first break.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
I'm trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
I'm also trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
Start a conversation with the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Check jamstockx.com for information and a list of registered stockbrokers. You can also call the Jamaica Stock Exchange at 876-967-3271 for information on how to begin. I am achieving my financial goals.
I'm achieving my financial goals.
We're here to open a savings account for my son John. I really want him to start saving and managing his own money.
And I need for Save to visit my father in New York.
Okay, based on what you said and our risk assessment, he will qualify for simplified customer due diligence requirements. I'll need your ID, proof of income, TRN, and John's ID as well.
Okay, here you go.
Opening an account is easier than you think using simplified customer due diligence requirements, also called CDD.
It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Don't ever, ever, ever wanna calm down. No, no,
Hi, I'm Nielsen Rose, host of Let's Talk Stocks, reminding you that health is indeed wealth and time is really money. Why not spend a little time with us? Weekday mornings, 9 to 9:30 a.m. for your daily dose of business, economic, and investment insights.
Let's all get fit. This summer set drip. Hip dips and split. Power in the mind, let's get healthy with it. Sometimes the body's so hard, but everybody wants it. And then your head is so hard, and it's so like this. So we gotta go 1, 2, 3. One more now. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. One more now. 1, 2, 3. One more now. 1, 2, 3, go.
Caribbean dreams, instant turmeric tea. What you put in is what you get out. What you put in is what you get out. Yeah. Build up your body, boost up your brain. Take on the world now. Say bye-bye pain. Caribbean dreams, instant turmeric tea. Be good to you. Caribbean dreams, instant turmeric tea. Distributed by Amalgamated Distributors Limited.
Me grew up and see my granny and save her money under her mattress.
Exactly. Your grandmother's house never burned down?
No, how you reached that, so? That was a one-off thing.
That could have happened to anybody. That's why you must put your money in a financial institution and protect it.
What if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in.
What you mean?
JDIC is a financial safety net which provides coverage for your money in case your financial institution fails.
Explain that to me.
All right. Because of the JDIC deposit insurance scheme, once you put your money into a financial institution like a bank or building society, you can get coverage of up to a maximum of $1.2 million per deposit of your financial institution if it should fail. And for even more information, you can visit their new website at www.jdic.org, and you can follow the social media platforms for the latest information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items, such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-923-5111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
The local news is brought to you by Darriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with the farewell of former Senator and Chief Executive Officer of Grace Kennedy Limited, Honorable Don Webby, who passed away on July 26. Today, he was laid to rest at a service at the Cathedral of the Most Holy Trinity in Kingston. The service was attended by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, who hailed Mr. Webby as a national figure and a leader whose life exemplified true greatness.
Don Webby was, in every respect, a national figure whose presence was felt in the boardroom, in the Senate, in the community, and in the hearts of the people whose lives he touched. His passing has left a void, not just in the Grace Kennedy family and the Jamaican business community, but in the fabric of our nation. Today, we pay tribute to a leader whose life reminds us that true greatness is measured not only by personal gain, but by service to others and service to country.
The Prime Minister also lauded Senator Webbe for his contribution to national development, particularly his decision to leave the private sector and join public service.
He was not content to sit on the sidelines. He believed that those blessed with talent, education, opportunity had a responsibility to give back. His impact was not limited to the private sector. In September 2007, he made the uncommon but inspiring decision to leave the corporate world and enter public service. In that role, he brought a unique perspective, the precision of a trained accountant, the strategic mindset of a CEO, and the heart of a patriot. He worked to strengthen the country's fiscal position, streamlined public administration, and promoted policies that encouraged economic growth.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Meanwhile, CEO of Grace Kennedy, Frank James, also remembered the former GK CEO for his commitment to his staff and country.
During COVID, Don set the priority. Our people always came first, and that guiding principle shaped every decision we made. His message to us was simple: we are stronger together, we care. And he backed those words with action, ensuring our team was safe, our customers were served, and our communities were supported. We are grateful for how Don's life impacted the lives of our team.
He says Mr. Webbe's legacy reflects visionary leadership.
From the very beginning, Don's leadership was marked by vision, discipline, and clarity. Under his leadership, GK expanded its reach, diversified its portfolio, and built out our global presence, delivering strong growth for Grace Kennedy. But what set Don apart was that his vision was never just about the numbers. In fact, when a reporter once asked him how he wanted his legacy to be measured, he didn't talk about revenue growth, acquisitions, or shareholder returns. He simply said, by how many children Grace Kennedy sends to school while I am CEO.
CEO of Grace Kennedy, Frank James. Turning now to finance. Jamaica's net international reserves rose to US $6,113.72 million at the end of July, up from US $5,835.6 million in June. According to the Bank of Jamaica BOJ, this level could cover about 51 weeks of goods imports and 32 weeks of goods and services imports. We go now to updates from Jamaica's election campaign trail, where CBX News continues to track the latest economic developments on the upcoming elections. The People's National Party PNP has proposed tax relief measures aimed at boosting household income and business investment if elected as the next government. Under their manifesto, Mission Jamaica Love, the party proposes removing tax on overtime payments for workers earning up to $6 million annually and on pension income. They also plan to increase the employment tax credit cap to 40%, encouraging job creation and business training investments. Meanwhile, despite Jamaica recording its lowest unemployment rate in history, PNP candidate for Northwest St. Anne, Senator Gabriel Morrison, insists, though available, many jobs are highly unstable and low-paying. To address this, she says the PNP plans to create a national youth innovative fund to support entrepreneurship.
Our young people don't want to stay in a country where they have to be fighting to survive, fighting to make ends meet. And so one of the things that we are committed to doing as the next government is focusing on our entrepreneurs, because we want to encourage young people to not just be consumers, but producers, to create, to build, to develop. And so we will be implementing a national youth innovative fund, which will offer $1 billion and will be replenished annually. And that will focusing on supporting our young people who want to build businesses, who want to have startups, who are focusing especially on areas of technology, the creative industry. And we believe that this is a transformational program that will empower young people to build something for themselves.
Senator Morris also highlighted the party's push for job creation in tourism and agriculture.
In terms of job creation as well, we are committed to providing 20,000 new jobs, especially in the area of tourism. We're looking at agriculture as well as the creative industry. And so one of the things that we will do in addition to our $1 billion creative fund is set up a fund that will be used to build industry hubs and will be used to have creative spaces where persons can produce content and also earn from content.
Senator Gabriella Morrison, PNP candidate for Northwest St. Anne. Now to foreign currency trading news. At the end of Thursday's currency trading, the US dollar is selling for $161.42, the Canadian for $117.13, and the pound sterling for $217.16. The going rate for the euro is $191.69. Next, we go to trading news from the Jamaica Stock Exchange. 106 stocks traded on the JSE Thursday, of which 36 advanced, 44 declined, and 26 traded firm. Leading the winners were Sterling Investments, Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, MFS Capital Partners, and Palace Amusement, while the losers were led by Jamaica Public Service Company 7%, Knutsford Express, Atlantic Hardware and Plumbing Company, and Cygnus Credit Investments US dollar ordinary shares. Now the main index advanced by 302.12 points or 0.10% to close at 312,266.97. The junior market index, however, declined by 38.49 or 1.11% to close at 3,432.43. And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by Carrie Chris, Regional Ratings, Global Standard. Now in today's Market Education Feature, we'll be defining the term inventoriable costs. Inventoriable costs, also known as product costs, are the direct expenses tied to producing goods and preparing them for sale. These typically include direct materials, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, and freight in. Until the inventory is sold or otherwise disposed of, these costs are recorded as assets on the balance sheet. Once a sale occurs, the related inventory costs is transferred from the balance sheet to the income statement as an expense under cost of goods sold. The Market Education Feature was brought to you by Carrie Chris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. Interesting. And that's our Market Education Feature and the end of the local segment. Please stay with us. The regional business news is up next. The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. and Pulse Investments.
We're here to open a savings account for my son John. I really want him to start saving and managing his own money.
And I need for safe to visit my father in New York.
Okay, based on what you said and our risk assessment, he will qualify for simplified customer due diligence requirements. I'll need your ID, proof of income, TRN, and John's ID as well.
Okay, here you go.
Opening an account is easier than you think using simplified customer due diligence requirements, also called CDD.
Welcome back. We go now to news from across the region. As Guyana heads to the polls in less than a month, the We Invest in Nationhood Win Party is drawing attention to its ambitious economic proposals that could reshape the country's fiscal and energy landscape. In its recently launched manifesto, presidential candidate Azruddin Mohammed outlined economic measures designed to boost disposable income and stimulate domestic consumption. Key proposals include sweeping tax reforms such as reducing PAYE, pay-as-you-earn, to 20%, raising the income tax threshold from $130,000 to $200,000, and cutting VAT from 14% to 10%, with several essential items moving to zero-rated status. On wages, public servants could see salaries rise by up to 50%, while WIN plans to engage the private sector to encourage similar increases in minimum wages. The manifesto also signals a strategic approach to Guyana's oil sector. Mohammed has pledged to renegotiate the 2016 production sharing agreement with ExxonMobil, seeking fairer terms for the country while protecting key projects through ring fencing, ensuring revenues are used efficiently and transparently. These proposals, first announced in July, are now gaining renewed attention as voters evaluate party platforms ahead of the 2025 general and regional elections on September 1. Mohammed frames the agenda as a part of a broader strategy to strengthen economic growth, attract investment, and secure long-term fiscal sustainability for Guyana. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, is emphasizing the urgent need to restart the country's refinery operations, highlighting the economic inefficiencies of importing refined petroleum products that the nation wants produced domestically. Addressing the impact of recent U.S. tariffs on the country's trade, the Prime Minister noted that TNT is currently importing billions in refined products such as kerosene and jet fuel using hard U.S. dollars, despite exporting crude oil abroad.
It has sent me a table containing the balance of trade between the U.S. and Trinidad and Tobago. And on that list, we are importing with hard U.S. currency items that we use to produce at the refinery. Kerosene, jet fuel, other energy products, what you put in your car. We used to produce that. Now we sell our oil and then we buy back the refined products with US dollars. That making any sense to you? We have to get that refinery going. $9 billion in kerosene we importing. $9 billion. When we were producing that here, we had jobs, we had foreign exchange coming out of the refinery.
Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. And Trinidad and Tobago NGL Limited, TTNGL, has released its financial results for the 6 months ended June 30, reporting a loss after tax of TT $35.8 million when compared to a profit of TT $46.7 million in the same period last year. The decline was driven by an impairment loss of TT $85.2 million related to the company's investment in Phoenix Spark Gas Processors Limited, PPGPL, following updates to risk assessments after the U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, revoked certain Venezuelan gas field exploration licenses. Despite this, TTNGL's share of profit from PPGPL increased by 7.4% to TT $50.8 million, supported by higher operational uptime, a 2.4% improvement in NGL content, and ongoing cost rationalization. PPGPL posted profit after tax of US $19.3 million, up from US $18 million in the first half of 2024, even as gas volumes to Point Lissa slightly decreased and Mont Belvieu product prices remained flat. Meanwhile, earnings per share, or EPS, for the half year fell to TT 23 cents from 30 cents in 2024. The company has not declared dividends during the period, citing compliance with the Companies Act, but continues to explore options to resume payments pending regulatory approvals. And still with Trinidad and Tobago, but this time trading news from the TTSC. 22 securities traded on the TTSC Thursday, of which 4 advanced, 6 declined, and 12 traded firm. Today's winners were One Caribbean Media, Prestige Holdings, Unilever Caribbean, and Calypso Macro Index Fund, while leading the losers were Trinidad Cement, the West Indian Tobacco Company, Angostura Holdings, and First Citizens Group Financial Holdings. Other results include the All TNT Index declining by 5.08 to close at 1,469.46. The Composite Index declining by 2.63 to close at 1,018.89. And the Cross-Listed Index and the SME Index both remained unchanged at 75.16 and 96.44 respectively. We go for a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment with Nielsen Rose is up next.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. In the international news today, the UK economy expanded 0.3% quarter-on-quarter in Q2 of 2025, slowing from a 0.7% growth in Q1, but outperforming market forecasts of just 0.1%, according to preliminary data released on Tuesday. The deceleration partly reflects economic activity pulled forward into February and March ahead of April's stamp duty changes and the announcement of new US tariffs. Growth in Q2 was driven by a 0.4% rise in services, led by a 4.1% surge in computer programming and consultancy. Construction output rose 1.2%, while production declined 0.3%, weighed down by sharp drops in utilities 6.8% and mining 0.3%, though manufacturing edged up 0.3%. On the expenditure side, the economy was supported by a 1.2% increase in government consumption, particularly in health services, vaccinations, and public administration, as well as defense. Gross capital formation rose due to gains in valuables, inventories, and alignment adjustments, but business investments fell sharply by 4%. Household spending posted a modest 0.1% gain, while exports rose 1.6%, slightly ahead of the 1.4% increase in imports, contributing positively to net trade.
Employment in the euro area increased by 0.1% quarter-on-quarter in Q2, reaching a 171.695 million. According to official estimates released on Wednesday, the pace of growth slowed slightly by 0.2% in Q1, but remained in line with market expectations, marking the 17th consecutive quarter of job gains across the currency bloc. The data underscores a steady upward trend in labor market activity despite signs of divergence among major economies. Spain led the gains with a 0.7% rise in employment, followed by France at 0.3%, while Germany and Italy both posted declines of 0.1%. On a year-on-year basis, employment rose 0.7%, reflecting continued resilience in the region's labor market amid broader economic uncertainties. The UK trade deficit widened to £5.01 billion in June, up from a revised £4.55 billion in May, marking the largest gap since February, according to the official data released on Thursday. Exports fell 2.6% month-over-month to £74.76 billion, a six-month low, driven by a 6.3% drop in goods exports. Shipments to the EU declined 3%, notably due to reduced aircraft exports to Germany, while non-EU exports plunged 9.6%, led by falling machinery and transport equipment, including a sharp drop in car exports to the US. Exports of goods to the US, including precious metals, fell by £0.7 billion, hitting their lowest level since February 2022. Services exports edged down 0.2% to $46.03 billion. On the import side, goods import fell 3.5% to $50.89 billion, the lowest in 5 months, driven by reduced purchases of office machinery from the Netherlands and cars from Germany. However, services imports rose 1% to $28.88 billion. Producer prices in the United States rose 0.9% in July, marking the strongest monthly increase since June 2022, according to official data released last Friday. The rebound follows a flat reading in June and significantly exceeds market expectations of a 0.2% rise, signaling a sharp uptick in wholesale inflation. The increase was driven by a 1.1% rise in service costs, with a notable 3.8% surge in margins for machinery and equipment wholesaling. Goods prices climbed 0.7%, fueled by a 38.9% spike in fresh and dry vegetables, highlighting volatility in food-related categories. And those were your international business stories. After the break, join Neil for your recap.
Welcome back, and now to recap our top stories. Locally, former CEO of Grace Kennedy Don Webby laid to rest today. Regionally, Win Party pledges major economic reforms ahead of Guyana's general elections. And on the international scene, Euro area employment climbs for a 17th consecutive quarter. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of Nielsen Rose and the entire production team, I'm Neil Wood, thanking you for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.
Hi, I'm Melanie Levy. You're watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.
The Caribbean Business Exchange now presents a regional feature.